Tuesday, 2 days to Thanksgiving, 1 day to PCE numbers. How's everyone doing this morning? Good morning, McRangers. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Patrick. Hello, Sterling. I can't find your good morning. Everything's jumbled up again. Everything's jumbled up, but I really appreciate Sterling putting in so his earnings first, and then the news pops up. And I really appreciate the different colors because that can help me find the earnings like Burlington, which was a beat miss. There's the good morning. Then we have, I'm scrolling through, I'm reassembling the order of the messages. I don't know if I'm getting in the right order. Best Buy was a miss, so people not buying electronics and TVs, but they're buying sporting goods. Beat for Dick's. And they are talking over Zoom. It was, but they meant, I mean, Zoom's revenue keeps slowly climbing, but it's not justify its PE ratio. Very slowly. What else do we have? See, now we have news next, but now I got to scroll back up to find the news, like Wells Fargo asset cap. My life is so tough. Oh, thank you for doing this, Sterling. What else? I don't need to put all that up there, but I thank you for putting in there. Yeah, Lily's on a tear this morning. Because the rumors are that the White House is going to expand Medicare, Medicaid, and requesting companies to pick up weight loss drugs, which Lilly produces a lot of. Oh boy. Kohl's shares fall 4% pre-market. Was the CEO doing that good a job that, it was Kohl's on a tear, and it's like, this is the most amazing CEO they've ever had, and that's why it's falling? I don't think so. Markets are nuts right now. You have Abercrombie Fitch. What else? Is this going to help or hurt? And isn't that a Subway CEO is stepping down at the end of the year? You know, Subway's been playing with some interesting different deals all the time. They actually get a lot of foot traffic when they do that $6.99 foot long in the app. Okay. So we have numbers coming out. Thank you for putting everything in. Let's see. I'm trying to find everybody. There we go. Good morning, Jacob. Good morning, Anissa. Remind me, Royal Palms. Well, very demanding today, Royal Palms. I need a double thumbs up. Elf. We can't look at Elf until after Thanksgiving. Then we can look at Elf. We can put it on a shelf. We can do whatever we want. Good morning, Heinrich. There we go. Hit the like button for Mike. Hello, everyone. And good morning, Charles. Good morning, Eric. Would you add to a core position in your weekly double top trades? Well, remind me to look at that. Joe Biden's last contribution to Big Pharma before leaving office. Yep. And we need to shrink this stuff. Good morning. Options 22, 2 days in a row? What is going on, buddy? How you doing? Are you back home or are you still traveling the world? Yeah, we need more taxpayer-funded weight loss. You know, and I know there's going to be something that comes out, you know, with all these people using these weight loss drugs now. There's going to be some like side effects that build up over time. That's going to be like, you know what? I say eat healthier and exercise more. Just move more and eat healthier. Dubai. Wow, options 22. Good morning, Ted. Good morning, John. I think it's important to say good morning. I know some people go, why do you say good morning to everybody? Because we need to have we need to start off the day in a friendly mood to help us navigate these markets, which are absolutely insane, like gold yesterday. Gold. Now, when you get volatility like this, it's after something's made a long run, and I'm not just talking gold because we're getting volatility across the board in a lot of things. It's generally indicative of a potential topping area, but would not recommend shorting this market until something triggers. Red Book coming in at 4.9, down from 5.1, but still a decently strong number. You have the house price index. You have a house price year over year, still 4.4%. New home sales, we have that. What's coming out next, though? We have Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index, revenues. We have Dallas's Fed Services Index. So some minor indexes. I'm going to be indices. I'm going to be paying more attention to Dallas, but they do come out at 10 and 10:30 Eastern time. We have the meeting minutes. I don't think it's going to be market moving, but it could be more indicative of any more thought process maybe that they haven't conveyed from their last 25 basis point cut. Also, the rate cut odds are still climbing again, slowly climbing. I mean, I think it was 60 something percent, but slowly climbing. And tomorrow, remembers, the critical day. The map this morning, you have Lilly, weight loss Lilly, 3.59. But now things are starting. You're starting to get a bid in some of the mega caps and the chips with the government doling out chip grant money. Why does the government have to do this? Why do we have to pay for private companies? Can we just actually have capitalism? Everything's a handout. Can we literally, and can we let stuff actually happen in the free market? Am I that insane? Trump threatening tariffs, on Mexico. That's why you have GM and Ford down. What else do we have? The groups, well, of course, health. Oh, technology now outpacing healthcare. Healthcare was leading before. Now it's technology. But sort of a more mixed market today. We have financial, real estate, industrials, and basic materials pulling back. Technology, healthcare, and energy leading. Fed watch 63 to 36. So we're climbing with another projected cut again, but nowhere near the 90%. I'm going to see how this reacts tomorrow after the number comes out. Fear and greed, still solidly in greed. Chiller PE, still over 38, climbing again. Sterling, thanks again for putting in. Best Buy, which completed, Best Buy was a great little signal from a topping perspective, completed a double bottom. I mean a double top, all running all the way to the targets against the 200. Dell, CrowdStrike, Workday, Autodesk, HP after the close today, and before the open, nothing. Just pay attention to nothing you need to look at unless you own one of those stocks. But just pay attention to the GDP and PCE numbers tomorrow. Good morning, Daniel. So, I read a study out of Canada last week showing that these weight loss drugs reduce lean muscle mass and, more importantly, cardiac muscle mass in humanized mice trials. If it actually starts hitting the heart muscle in humans, so you have people trying to lose weight, they are probably not the most exercise intensive people in the past, and then you're reducing their heart. I know something's going to come out. You just watch. You know what? You just have to eat right and be healthy and exercise. Not saying you have to go to the gym, lift a ton of weights. So yesterday was a doji day after hitting the 87.5. Still, market's trying to, every dip, look at every time so far, we're just getting a tail since the 18th of November. Everything's just being bought. Nothing's changed, though. There's some pretty substantial resistance up at yesterday's highs. Pretty substantial resistance. So I'm still watching the 60.35 to 60.38 area as key resistance. Through there, if it can break through there, then the next target for me is the 60.53, 60.55 area. Then we have 60.94, and then we have a major cluster at 61.21 to 61.35. The only thing, we do have the potential double in place still. So that's the only bearish pattern. Now, this would be interesting because if this starts triggering, here's your weekly. It's into the weekly rotation zone, which is held every rally. But these rallies are getting closer and closer to where you're getting sell-offs. It's in the rotation zone, but look on the daily. Look on the daily. It would be out of the way of the 50. And the 50's been a support was the last support area. So it's still against the weekly rotation zone. So it's not for a crisis mode yet. We're a long way off from triggering it, but going to be paying attention, especially after we get preliminary Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and we're getting to this top area going into. We're definitely potentially at a short-term top area going into numbers tomorrow. We got to see what they are. And then if we start getting more and more things negative about the consumer, I think we could end a rally early. But until that happens, it's up. It's up. It's still buy every dip. Not necessarily by me, but it's buy every dip by a lot of people. 59.80 is key support. Watch around yesterday's close for minor support, which is about 6,000 to 6,005. Good morning, dark screen. Trading gold is dealing with your ex-wife. Oh boy. Right now, maybe it was your ex-wife volatile too. Hey, Richard. NASDAQ completed the little minor double yesterday and then rejected down, but still no close above the 62.5. It looks like we're going to close, or we're going to try to close above the 62.5 today. We're going to have to see because we have cycles back to the top. Watch yesterday's, watch anywhere from, on a rally today, 2180 to 21,100 is the key resistance area. On a rally, again, the dips are still being bought. So that's what I'm watching for. Very key. Your minor support is about 2850 and major support has already been tested around 20,750 area. Just keep in mind we don't have double top territory on the NASDAQ yet. So that would not be a pattern. I'd just be watching the lows if we do roll over, not for today, but if we do roll over, especially over the next few days, watch the lows from the 19th. The Dow eking out new highs. New highs not yet to this 45K cluster area. Pulling back a little, but your very significant support is 485 to 45. Sorry, 4485 to 44,500. I misspoke there. And then you still have a gap on any rollover play with cycles at the top. Again, more so for tomorrow morning. Pay attention to 44,395. On a rally, if this does pick up, remember industrials are pulling back a bit today, but 45, there's a significant cluster, but if that blows through, it's a 45,335 area. The Russell eking out new highs yesterday. It's a new all-time 2460.8, and yesterday's highs was 2477.2, hitting the harmonic in there. See the harmonic, that red line, bouncing off that, coming back down. Not able to fill the gap yet between the 22nd and the 25th. So you still have on any rollover play, especially tomorrow morning, watch for that gap fill to 2413.6. Other than that, rally today, I'm going to be paying attention to this rallies back up and sets up a little minor double top pattern. That's what I'll be paying attention to today. But the next major target, if it were to blow through yesterday's high, would be 2498, so close to 25K. The VIX, no fear. The DAX, nothing to see here. Still, major consolidation area. Besides looking at the smaller time frames, there's just not a lot of good setups here. Notes, little rally yesterday. Pausing. So we're finally getting back. We're finally climbing. Again, 110.22 and then roughly about 111 are the key levels higher with weekly cycles climbing. But that is very interesting right there. The 10-year still little bounce today, but if we do, there's a pretty minor support level right here. About this 4.265. If we do break through that, though, it's a pretty quick trip to 4.2 where there's major support. And we still, on a yield basis, have cycles rolling down. So not surprised to see, overall, based off the strength of the yields moving, this has been a sideways correction still. What else? Dollar index, trying to put in some very key support level now at 106.25. If it breaks through that, 105.75 is the next key target, but there is some buying pressure coming in around this 106.25. Be interesting to see that remember, it's between the 50 and the 62.5. Let me get to the weekly chart. There's your weekly. So it has eked out new highs above a very major resistance base, but it's still in a very key rollover zone. So not surprised, and it's been on such a tear, not surprised to see a pause. Even a pullback to about 105.50 would not destroy anything with the bullish pattern. Crude, just also watching for that top yesterday. It started breaking down during the live stream. Coming back yesterday to key support, 68.64. There aren't a lot of good setups in crude right now. There just aren't. You can watch for minor stuff, but this is just flagging right now. If it does break through to 68 level, I'm just it would be sit on hands from my perspective until 67 to see the key resistance. If it does bounce up, 71.40. Other than that, there's nothing besides the volatility. Natty gas is much more interesting. This is why don't get stuck on trading just only one market, because sometimes the market's just not good to trade. Like natty gas coming back, little key support, pullback into the rotation zone, rotating back up overall on the pattern, building higher highs, now building higher lows, breaking out against very key resistance. So this could get very interesting very quickly if it can really break through to this 360 area. Rather be watching natty gas and crude at the time. Gold, which, come on. This is getting into at least a very large consolidation pattern. And if it takes out the lows from the week of Monday 11th, watch out. That would be a much more significant top. We're starting to get some very strong volatility in here, some whipsaw signals back and forth, and petering out with momentum. So, worst case is consolidation. That's why I'm still watching these 25, the lows of 25.41. We'll talk more gold. I'm on Ninja Trader tomorrow morning. I think we're talking some more commodities. So if you're interested in that, tune into Ninja tomorrow because we'll take a closer look at some of these. But we're getting some massive volatility. To me, it's right now, from a long perspective, it's sit on hands. From a longer term perspective, from a short term perspective, it's wait for a decent setup because this price action is just not conducive. This is getting too volatile. You can harvest some stuff, but it's the probabilities. Remember, you're quickly reversing probabilities. Now, it didn't close back below this 2,700 yesterday. So technically didn't shift the probabilities from when it triggered above the 62.5 the day before, but this is not a strong bar. So for me, I'm in neutral mode. What else? The yen, confirming but not triggering the double top. Paying attention to where this closes also today in relation to the rotation zone. This looks like it's sort of setting up a flagging pattern more than a double pattern, but I got to still, if this does trigger, I'll have to watch for the probabilities of the further pullback. If it doesn't trigger, it's confirmed, but I'll still be watching for this base to hold. Euro, not a great pattern in here yet. Just a pause after its major sell-off. Again, nothing great to trade there. We looked at the pound yesterday. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this because it has been confirmed if you are trading the pound. It has not been triggered. It would need a 4-hour close above 126.13. That could be your little pound strength, but let's take a look at it because it's into the rotation zone. So it's just a minor bounce pattern into the rotation zone, but it's got room in front of the 21. Spiders, still on the bigger picture, has a potential double top in place. Very key resistance on the spiders. Still right around the 600. 600 is key. If it gets above that 602.19 and then 604.20. The Qs. The Qs, we're still looking. Yesterday, it's pretty strong support around 506.35. Key resistance 510.30, and if it does travel through there either today or tomorrow, then 512.94. I will get to some things. Let me get to some other Bitcoin, because we got to talk about the Bitcoin. Still, after the major run, we're very overextended. Not much to talk about, but key support is coming in at about 90,500. Watch with the pullback with stocks getting to the bottom. Pay attention tomorrow. If this does set up, if you're a Bitcoin bull, pay attention to today's potential high if this does set up for a %B buy. All right, what do I need to get to? NVIDIA double top. I'm taking that one first. NVIDIA double top. That's really sloppy. What is that level? No, it's not. Nope. Doesn't qualify for the rules. My key thing is if NVIDIA really starts breaking down below this 132 area. 132, I'll then start watching for potential rally, sell the rally setups in NVIDIA. Now, what's interesting enough in terms of the bigger lopsided double, it's still in play. So if that were to trigger, I'd really be kissing the markets goodbye. What else? NGNE. Oh boy. Pick the easy ones. Oh, well, it's again. Let's just take a look at the larger picture here first. So something happened. Earnings, but what? I mean, you're trading against the key support right now, but is there a strong bottoming pattern? Not yet on the weekly, not yet on the daily. So, and I wouldn't even be playing, if you're trying to play this from the bullish side, I wouldn't even be playing for a full gap fill at this point. This is something, see, with this, based off its return now to its prior major key support area, I'd be watching for a stronger, if I was going to try to play this from the long side, it's sort of in no man's territory right now for me. Because, yeah, it could continue a bounce. We have the declining, and I'd have to look at this company fundamentally, but right now there's just no setup for me personally. This would not be something I'd be looking. If it did continue and it gets through the daily rotation zone about 25, the key very major resistance is 29. You just don't have a good play yet set up. I'd be paying very close attention to this 24, 25 area though. ELF. You mean it's Elf Beauty, not Elf on the Shelf? Boy. Yuck. And these are things I would, unless you were Like from a long-term perspective, you know what? I'm just looking here. I am really curious, like a couple things. All right, that's the 87.5. That's the 188.47. Yeah, personally, I'd be watching. If you're going to force me to make a trade in this, I'd be watching for rollover plays, on any rallies, rollover plays, and once it gets below this about 118 level, I'd be structuring things with a target of 100, then a return to the lows back from November 23, and the vicinity of the 200 on the weekly. This was a double. So look at this. Yep. And before I even put that on, so this was a double top. It still is. You can clearly see it on the monthly. Look at that. Beautiful on the monthly. Triggered back in August, and it's already hit the first and second targets. Got a little bounce off the second targets, but I'd still be watching for rollover plays and look where the final target area is. So that would be key for me. What else do we have? AIQ. That really looks to me with waning momentum. Although there's no shortable patterns just yet. But if this were to break back down below 37, I'd be on the lookout that this thing's getting done, and you do have a daily double top potential. I'll get up to the bull case next. I'd be watching actually this if you don't trade it, because this could actually be setting up a top. I think AI in the near terms run its course. Doesn't mean it's going away. It means it's the jubilation is fading. All right, but this 37.53 is going to be key. So would not be doing anything until it trades below that. And the next key targets, then I'll take a look at the opening stuff and let me know if I missed any other stocks. So we had the reverse harmonics, and you see where it's stalling out right here. But now if we shift this was definitely a pausing bar. So if we shift it to the forward harmonics, if this keeps marching higher, you have 40.20 and 41.24. Also, even if that double triggers, your idea would be really watching that double. Really watching that double. Let's take a look at X, since there's a rumor that Biden is going to okay the sale to Nippon Steel out of Japan. All right, let's take a look at X. Too bad X is private. I'm talking about the Twitter X, and Elon, you can't have that symbol unless the sale. Hey, maybe if the sale goes through, X becomes available. Elon, I'm being facetious here. Elon takes it public again, and he gets his symbol, because you know he'd be wanting that stock symbol. Oh, I mean, if he okays it, you're going to get a pop in this, but is there a fantastic pattern? I mean, it's really just setting up a. So what's interesting enough is from the highs back in December 23 to the lows, you got to look. So the lows happened after this. So you can't say, oh, it closed above the 62.5, because now we'd be watching for a longer term close above the 62.5. And on the weekly, it was rejected there a couple times. You had a little minor daily close above that a couple times, but it's been rejected. So I'd be watching this 42 area very strongly on that. And if 35 would be the key support. Other than that, there's not great patterns. Because I'd be looking to, well, I probably wouldn't be looking to sell resistance up here. I'd be looking, if it did drop, maybe it's be worth it trying to buy some, set up a bullish play if it drops back down. What else? Didn't I have a question on uranium? Uranium still has not been able to sustain something. Boy, one of these days uranium's going to pop, but I would be watching. This is a valid double. If this were triggered, I would be very patient in building a core position. If it holds on any pullback, I'd be watching. If it does hold this 30 level, and then on any shorter term buy patterns, like daily buy patterns, on a pullback, I'd be looking closer to this 30 level if you're already not established in it. If it were to trigger, then I'd be very patient back till potentially 25. I don't think I missed anything else. All right, let's just peek back at the S&P. Not much to talk about. If it does pop through to 60.25, your next key level 60.33 to 60.35 for me. Key support is 60.17, 60.18 really. Very strong support there. So in any pullback, that's where I'd be looking for potential buy setups. If that were to break though, I would not touch it again, or would be looking for short setups back down to 60.10. But this is key. I can't have been that strong a tick opening. Let's see. Nope. Sort of moderately weak, minus 650. So with this kind of stuff, I'm going to be watching for to see on the next tick rollover play how this resistance reacts. And then I'll be watching to see how it comes into support around that 6,018. If that support breaks, it's that 6,010 level for me. That's the only thing I'll be looking at in the short term. You're welcome, Eric. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Remember, tomorrow morning, do not be caught sleeping. We got core PCE, durable goods, GDP, the second estimate for Q3, personal spending, personal income, jobless claims. Why are jobless claims on Wednesday? Because Thursday's a holiday. We got a slew of information. So are we prepared for volatility around 8:30 a.m. Eastern? Because you can even get contradictory numbers coming out. Some that could be bullish, some that could be bearish. So be prepared for volatility tomorrow at 8:30. That's all the advice I can give you. And remember, doesn't mean we have to top, but we are getting into overbought area again with cycles at a top on the dailies. And cycles could be trying to peter out and resume their downtrend on the weekly with major divergences up here. So that's why I'm cautious going into tomorrow. Know where your stops are from any short-term bullish positions, because there's a potentiality, only a potentiality, that we could get some downside volatility. You're welcome, Anissa. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.